Hey folks, Kenny Omega here for ESPN, and I am here with a very iconic duo. These guys are like the Bonnie and Clyde, the Batman and Robin, the Ernie and Bert of the Tekken series. We have Katsuhiro Harada and Michael Murray. So guys, I really have to ask, this one's for me. It's not really so much for the viewers, but the viewers might find it interesting too. I've heard two very different stories about how you guys met years and years and years ago. One was from Juna, actually. He had said that you were you were driving on a lonely night down a highway on a motorcycle.
I was.
And yes, you were. And you'd stopped at a lonely bar. Okay. And you thought, you'd just spend the night there. Down in drinks, one after another, after another, after another. And sitting next to you was Harada-san. And you guys got to talking. And he'd said, "What are you into?" And he'd said, "I'm into video games. I'm into Tekken." And Harada-san said, "Why don't you join me, my friend? Let's make a game together." And then I heard another story. And this one's even a little bit more interesting. The other story, this is part two. This is where Harada-san left work and you were sleeping in the dumpster.
The dumpster? Like outside of
Yeah, outside the Bandai Namco building. So, so let me ask you the true story now. How did you two meet? How did you two develop a relationship? And from then on in, when did you guys really find that chemistry to create, the legendary Tekken series?
そうですね。昔鉄拳っていうのはね、専門のちゃんとこうローカライズっていうのやってなかったんです。英語とかも僕がやってたレベルで、日本のゲームって大体ちゃんとしてなかったんです。90年代は。で、ある時からちゃんと英語だったらアメリカのスタッフとかを入れようってことになって、最初にこの旧ナムコですね。昔にナムコにいたスタッフは結構ね、情報をリークするひどいやつらがいっぱいいたんですよ。でそのせいで僕すごくアメリカのそのスタッフの印象が悪かったんですけど、その時にちょうど彼が入社してきて、で彼の上司に僕は鉄拳が大好きなんだって言ったら、じゃあ原田君のとこ行けばってことで彼が来たんですけど、その時は僕は彼をもともとすごく信用していなかったので、最初はもう彼に何の情報も与えないし、それどころか彼はね、せっかく鉄拳にすごく憧れて入ってきてくれたのに、いろんなことをね質問される中で、僕は全然鉄拳と関係ない日本のですね、なんて言ってるんですかな何カルチャーって言えばいいのかな、ちょっとねエロいというかアンダーグラウンドね日本のちょっとそういうアダルトな文化についてずーっと日本ってのはこうなんだっていう話を彼はして散々やって、彼がとても失望した顔をしてその部屋を去っていったっていうのが最初の出会いですかね。
Anything you'd like to add?
It's surprisingly accurate. I came into the company. We didn't have localization in the industry at that time. So I wanted to test my Japanese skills. I had just gotten the level 1 proficiency. I was like, okay, I'll go into a Japanese company, check it out. I love Tekken. I played Tag 1 quite a bit in the arcades at the time. Namco's hiring, sweet. I get the job, I get in, and it's very open. The floors aren't really divided that much. You can go wherever you want. And like you said, my boss was like, "Oh, go talk to Harada-kun and find out how it is." Kun, as in my boss, was higher age, and I was like, "Hey, I like Tekken. It's awesome. Nina is such a cool character. She's who I'm using. What's like the story behind that? Whatever." And he didn't even say anything about Tekken. He just launches into the trade he was just talking about. And I'd seen this guy in Arcadia, with the very famous magazines at the time. I'm like, wow, this guy is like famous, like Kenny Omega. But but he just like totally blew me off with this really BS story that had nothing to do with Tekken. But I was polite and shocked at the same time. Just kind of sat there for I think 2 hours, just going, yeah. And then regretting I went up to that floor.
All right. So, first of all, congratulations on a season 2. From what I've heard, season 2 wasn't even planned. It wasn't even in the works. But yeah, but these days, we're seeing collaborations across the board. People are reaching out to other game franchises. So you guys have Final Fantasy, King of Fighters, Street Fighter. Yeah. Now The Walking Dead of all franchises. How crazy is that? And my personal favorite, Thomas the Tank Engine, even. So, yeah. So the question I have to ask now is, in season 2, what character are you most looking forward to?
あ、最も
期待してるシーズン2の
シーズン
まあ出てるものもあればこれからやってみる
そうです。もちろんニーガンはどれだけ広がるかってところではどっちかというと鉄拳のコアよりもう少し広い層にどれだけアプローチできるかってところはとても注目してるんですけど、で実はですね個人的にジュリアジュリアは実はとても開発としてはもう鉄拳プロジェクトとしてはもう15年20年前から苦労しているキャラクターでバッと人気が上がってもすぐ人気が下がったりっていうのでなかなか今回のジュリアはうまくいったねって思えたことがなかなかなくて、っていう意味では今回とても気合を入れてちょっとジュリアのファンがとても増えるように頑張っているので、ジュリアが今回でどれぐらいグッと人気が出てくれるかってところにとても注目してます。はい
I'm personally looking forward to Negan. You know, when we started off with the Tekken 7, first off, you know, we did Akuma, Goki in Japan, one of my favorite characters from fighting game franchises, and also Harada's. And we were just so thrilled to be able to implement him in the game in that way. Next up, then we had, you know, Geese, another character that we were really excited about. Of course, you know, Noctis. But then we were able to accomplish this with all of these different corporations, right? So the next step was what I really feel passionate about, and Harada and I, when you don't see us, when we're off camera, we're talking about the latest episode of Walking Dead that we saw or whatever, and we were just huge fans from the start. And Negan, you know, he was so hated, but at the same time, such like a powerful and cool villain, and he was like the perfect fit. And then when I actually got to do voice recording with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the actor, I'm a huge fan, you know, from Supernatural days, and I got to direct him and write the script of what he was going to say on the spot, right? And when we do it, it's kind of hard to explain what tone or whatever we wanted to do, so he does it a few times. And then I'm just like, well, just do it like this. And I did an example, and he was like, man, you're really good at Negan impersonation. And that's like one of the highlights of my career, to just, you know, be able to work with a man like that and for him to say that. And then as you saw on the stage today, he's coming along quite well. He's a quite unique character, so he's going to be my pick when he comes out.
Yeah, I mean, Negan definitely looking top class, top tier, and you know, it's choices like these, you know, listening to your community, watching your community grow, and I've really got to congratulate you guys on the growth of your community. Sometimes you see a game on release, you know, it'll be the hot number, and then after 1 week, 2 weeks, it slowly kind of piddles down. But you guys are actually the rare case where you've seen growth as the seasons progress and as time progresses. So with season 2 being successful, possibly a season 3 maybe?
そうですね。できればやっぱりつなげていきたいし、もう確かにおっしゃる通りどんどん盛り上がっていってるので、我々としては、この先全くプランがないわけじゃなくて、いろんなことを考えていきたいな、いろんな可能性は残したいなっていうふうに思ってます。
Yeah, I mean, we've been quite successful with season 2. That doesn't necessarily mean money. It means, like, you know, the community's respect. A lot of new people that didn't previously play Tekken. We've seen, as you said, the numbers, for example, for Tekken World Tour are higher in the second year, which is really unusual. And just being successful with the game itself and with these collaborations has given Harada and myself some power in the company even to kind of try to do bigger and better things for the community going forward, as long as we have their support. So I hope it continues.
Yeah, it's almost like if the people want it, they're going to get it. So let me talk to you about what the people, you know, possibly want. Okay. You guys done special collaborations. Yeah, I was part of it. You guys have collaborated with New Japan Professional Wrestling. I was there. Yeah. So you have, yeah. We had the Brian Fury, Kenny Omega, and the Mishima Bullet Club style. That was really cool, let me admit. And you also had the Rainmaker for King. Boom. You had Lars Tanahashi. You even put in the Go Ace theme. And everyone's been talking about it. Everyone's been begging because they're a little disappointed with those two. They're wondering, when's Kenny Omega going to be put in the game? Is that going to be one of the season 3 releases? Talk to me about it, Harada-san.
そうですね。ケニー・オメガを出してくれっていうのは結構意外とツイッターでも言われているので、もう皆さんの支持が多ければ、でも普通にケニー・オメガとして出てくるだけじゃつまんないから、多分なんか格闘技の世界に入ったらやりたいストーリーもそうだけど必殺技とかあるんじゃないの？なんか だってほら V トリガーとか言ってるぐらいだから。
Right, right. So, you are a game aficionado yourself. And as Harada was saying, it wouldn't just be like, okay, hi, I'm Kenny Omega in Tekken 7. And is there some kind of ideas like you have this move that you normally don't do, but if you were in a fighting game, you would want to do this kind of attack, or you have like a story setting or something that would go
Okay,
along?
so I mean, pretty much, if I were in a fighting game, I would clearly be top tier. I mean, that's just got to be decided already. So you would have to tie my story into pretty much, with the main characters. I got to be right up there with Kazuya. I've got to be right up there with Heihachi. Because
Thrown off a cliff, though?
yeah, no, I would, but I would get thrown off the cliff, but I'd land on my feet, or I would grab onto the rock face, and I would just climb right back up. I wouldn't even land on the ground. So as you know, the V trigger, boom, you've got that. You've got the Kateoku no Tenshi as well. So you've got a lot of options to work with. I'd be like the hybrid. I'd be striker and a wrestler. You don't really got much of that. So I'm really giving you guys like $1 million idea here. You guys want to hear support? You guys want support for your game? You can get a season 3 out of this, a season 4, possibly even a season 5. You'd be Tekken 7 until like 2027. So. It's something to consider. I mean, hey, you guys can thank me later, but for now, thank you so much for your input. All right, so I think I've gotten into Harada-san's ear. Kenny Omega's future's looking bright. Tekken 7's future's looking bright. So for more on Tekken 7 and other topics in FGC, please tune in to ESPN.com/esports.